What's going on, everybody? Tom here with Keto Lifestyle, and welcome to another free ketogenic recipe just for you subscribers out there. And if you are not a subscriber yet and you like what you see here, please consider doing so. Now, today's recipe is going to be for either a ketogenic white chocolate or a ketogenic cookies and cream bar, depending on how you want to make it. Now, these bars are actually 4 net carbs per 2.8 ounce bar. To put that in perspective, the same 2.8 ounces of Lily's chocolate is 8 net carbs. So if you have a sweet tooth and you're trying to save some carbs, please consider this recipe because everybody's loved it so far. With that, guys, hang on tight because I'm going to show you how to make it. Let's start with the ingredients. First, we have 10 ounces of cacao butter, 7 ounces of heavy whipping cream powder, between 4 and 4.5 ounces of powdered Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 ounce of cacao nibs that I have crushed a little bit further, and additionally we're going to be using a 1/2 teaspoon of sunflower lecithin. This acts as an emulsifier if you're in a humid climate, and it also helps to thin out the chocolate. If you don't have a double boiler, do what I'm doing and add enough water to a pot to where it does not touch the bottom of a glass bowl. Heat it over medium heat and allow your cacao butter to melt. This will need to become completely liquid and you'll want it to exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit. For this, you can use a candy thermometer or I'm just using a meat thermometer. Make sure it's not touching the bottom of the bowl. Once it exceeds 120 degrees, it's good to remove. So use some oven mitts and a pot holder to take it off the heat and place it on the pot holder. You don't want to put this on a cold surface and risk shattering your glass. At this point, the cacao butter is ready to start making our chocolate. So we're going to add our monk fruit sweetener, our powdered heavy whipping cream, and our salt. Save the sunflower lecithin and the cacao nibs for later. At this point, give it a really good mix. Make sure there are no clumps in there. You're going to continue mixing this later, so it doesn't have to be perfect right now, but get it as good as you possibly can. Now I'm going to leave my thermometer in the chocolate mixture and wait for it to cool down to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. This can take some time, so every now and again, go ahead and stir it. Once it's close to 85 degrees, say 86, 87, add your 1/2 teaspoon of sunflower lecithin. This can help thin it out, help the tempering process, and again, if you are in a more humid climate, it'll help the fats and the waters mix together. This is known as an emulsifier. Once you're at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to put it back on the double boiler over medium heat and bring it up to about 90 to 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Be careful because it does come up very quickly and you don't want to overheat it. I would make sure that you're mixing the chocolate the entire time you're getting it up to temperature so that it stays an even temperature. Now we're going to go ahead and pour it into our molds. You'll notice that I can be a little bit messy here, and I'm doing this on purpose because those extra drippings that get on my parchment paper or on the sides of the molds, I'm going to use for something which I will explain later. But just go ahead and fill your molds with the chocolate. Since I am making a 1/2 and 1/2 cookies and cream and white chocolate batch, I'm going to pour half my molds with the white chocolate, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my cacao nibs and pour the other half of the molds. Keep in mind, if you wanted to do a whole batch of cookies and cream, go ahead and use 2 ounces of cacao nibs instead, and then mix them in right before you start pouring. As you can see, I have over poured this a lot more than I was planning on it. So there's a very simple solution to here. Make sure all the pockets on your mold are full, then take an additional mold and just kind of run your rubber scraper across the top to pull off some of the excess chocolate. You could leave it there and just have them all connected. Now we're going to cool it for about 3 to 4 hours. I like to leave mine overnight before we try to remove them from the molds. At this point, they should just peel off because they are silicone molds. I don't spray them with anything, though I'm sure you could if you were worried about it sticking. I don't find a need to do it. Look how satisfying this one is. It is a perfect chocolate bar. Popping these little guys out can be a trick, but just push up from the bottom and pull. Earlier I mentioned that I like to save all the scraps from the mold and parchment paper. So what I do is I just kind of bang the molds on the parchment paper to break all the chocolate off of the molds. Then what I do is I store them in a plastic bag in my cabinet and use them in place of chocolate chips or anything that I'd want to put white chocolate chunks in. This is a great use of the scraps, so you're not wasting any of your chocolate. And here is our finished product. And now that you guys have seen the recipe, it is time for the taste test. Now before I taste it, I just want to let you know, if you like a real waxy, brittle chocolate, go ahead and up the cacao butter by about 10 or 20%. I like mine a little bit softer so it melts in your mouth, but it's all personal preference. So what I have here is I have one of the cookies and cream pieces that we made and one of the white chocolate pieces. And we're going to taste them both. So here we go. Now the white chocolate is delicious. It is creamy, it is sweet, and it's very smooth in your mouth. It kind of is exactly what white chocolate should be. Not to mention, I did throw a little salt in there so you get that kind of salty after kick, which is a personal favorite of mine. Now let's try the cookies and cream one. Now on the cookies and cream one, it is absolutely delicious as well because it is using the same base as the white chocolate. And if you like cacao nibs, they are definitely a great addition to this. It adds some crunch to break up the smoothness, if that's something you're into. But both of these recipes are absolutely phenomenal. They are shelf stable, and you can throw them in a backpack, purse, and take them anywhere, which is what my favorite thing about them is. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close up the video. If you liked the video, leave it a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. And if you have not subscribed yet, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, show some love, and I will see you in the next one.